Have you ever been convicted of a crime?
Yes.
What was the crime of which you were convicted? Did you in fact commit those acts?
I would invoke my Fifth Amendment right.
Privacy was very important to Jeffrey Epstein.
My sources tell me that somebody from British intelligence came through the vents.
Through the vents? What do you mean by that?
Through the vents in the cell.
Please state your full name.
Same answer. I'm Jeffrey Edward Epstein, and my residence address is 6100 Red Hook Boulevard in Virgin Islands.
Do you have any evidence to suggest otherwise?
The CIA was using children to compromise pedophile politicians.
Have you ever solicited a minor for prostitution anywhere at any time?
Again, I'm going to assert my right.
What'd you study?
Physics.
Mr. Epstein built little cabanas and beach houses all across the island.
66 different days that he violated his probation. He would go to the airport, jump in his helicopter, who knows where he went.
Yes, I report back to jail at 8 p.m.
Every single day?
Yes, sir.
Conspiracy, witness tampering, prostitution, blackmail, extortion, you name it.
Their goal is to cover this up.
Is it true, sir, that you have what's been described as an egg-shaped penis?
No, in fact, the Supreme Court recently said that the Fifth Amendment right is there to protect the innocent. So that's the way I'd like to answer that.
Talk about Jane Doe 102, Virginia Roberts.
What's the last name? How's it spelled?
Do you know Virginia Roberts?
So she's, again, who?
They're untouchable. So I understand people saying, why didn't you just go to the cops?
Prosecuted for these crimes,
right.
isn't that right?
They did.
Objection, argument.
Didn't matter. He owned the cops.
Harassing and calls for a legal conclusion.
Can you spell it? Can you spell it for me, please?
Okay, what is up, folks? Addy Ads here. It's Friday, and we got a special edition of the Epstein Files here from lovely Marina Del Rey in California. I am here for a few more hours, and I'm very fortunate to be joined once again by Mr. Daw.son, Ryan Daw.son of AN.CReport, and we are, again, we're in California, as I said today, and just
For a few more hours, yeah.
Yeah, we're both leaving today. Ryan was only here about a week, right, in the States, and it's really fortuitous and impromptu meeting. So we had a great episode last night.
I was in the free state of Florida.
Yeah,
but I break the trip up by coming here.
and Florida. I was actually in Florida earlier. I think it was earlier this year, and yeah, it's just a world of difference in terms of the masks and just the cultures.
There's a lot of mask holes in LA.
Yeah, we were talking about that with Peter Duke, how you pay all these taxes to live here just to see people wear masks everywhere, and double masks too. But you saw the Epstein Files intro that I did, and you said that the assassin of Jeffrey Epstein actually didn't go through the gate, or excuse me, the vent.
No, nobody's calling around through vents.
So he went through the front door.
They walked right in. They told the cops to go over there and take a nap.
Took care of business that way. So no need to go in the vent. Any updates? I actually didn't ask you this last night. Any updates that you've seen recently with the Epstein saga? Obviously, we saw Ghislaine Maxwell requested for the third time bail, even offering to revoke her citizenships to France and the United Kingdom.
She'll never see those places again anyway.
Yeah, I have a hard time believing that she will see daylight again, but it does seem that they're kind of draining her money, right? Is that what you would say? But yeah, as far as updates, any
they're
updates
draining
recently?
her money, and the reason it's going to take until July is because there's so much paperwork and evidence, so many
this wasn't just her and Epstein doing this on their own. This is the whole network. So they're compiling a lot on her, and they want her to try to plea bargain. They want her to flip and name other people. They got Jean-Luc Brunel arrested already. He's another one of the cohorts.
Yeah, John Luke was arrested in Charles de Gaulle in, I think it was December, right?
Peter Nygaard got nabbed in December.
The same week. Yep, Peter Nygaard as well, and up in Canada.
Like 6 days after that.
Yeah, but any other updates that you've seen as far as waypoints in the Jeffrey Epstein saga?
No, I mean there's been a lot of garbage said about it, and I try not to give that air, but to the tunnel people and stuff. This is how we get them. This is the most vulnerable they've ever been. You've got all these billionaires on that map. 9 of the people on the Epstein map are now in prison or dead. And then you've had some minor consequences for people like Leon Black, as they were resigning from chairman positions and things like that. And Wexner's selling all his assets off as fast as he can. He's been implicated for sexual harassment. That's not as bad as kidnapping and rape, like some of them, but they're starting to target him now. And
do you think Wexner will go down?
I think they've already gone down in the AI of public opinion. They haven't been hit by a court or put in handcuffs yet. Some of these people, but the Bronfmans, their kids got arrested and prosecuted. But the Bronfmans and Wexners, like all the people adjacent to them that aren't billionaires, are being arrested. And so, what are they going to do? How high up the chain can they go? And I think, with Epstein being murdered, as he was, it's saying, shut your mouth. So they can go sideways. So I'd love to see maybe like a Dershowitz or a Prince Andrew even being thrown under the bus. But as much as I hope I'm wrong, I just don't see it going up to the mega group people, the Wexners, the Dubins. I just don't see that.
Or the Royals either. You don't foresee that.
The Saudis, none of that.
But you think
they are getting roasted in the eye of the public, which is not nothing. But you should boycott Victoria's Secret, LL Brands, all that. Any Wexner properties, just don't buy from them.
Yeah, and I may have mentioned this last night. I was actually just up in New Albany, Ohio. Richest man in Ohio at one point in time there, Les Wexner. He's got a mansion there, and I've read stories of people like turning on to the wrong country road or something, and there's like some black Escalades or black Suburbans telling them to turn around.
He's got all his private security. The rapes occurred on his property. He allowed Epstein and Maxwell hanging out of there.
There was somebody in Delaware who was, I think, a big-time shareholder of the Limited Brands who I think filed a civil suit against Wexner about a month ago. Because of that, the liaisons was the verbiage they used between Epstein, Maxwell, and the minors there at the residence in New Albany. So
we still got the Deutsche Bank case going forward too, but no conclusions yet. It's all coming. It's all going to come out.
And that's Judge Salas's case. Is that correct?
They murdered her son.
Mm-hmm.
That is related. It's not just this anti-feminist guy went and shot 2 men and then killed himself. Right.
Yeah, it seems convenient.
She's covering Epstein. Epstein had so many white-collar financial crimes that people often overlook that because of all the raping kids portion of what he was doing, blackmailing, money trapping with minors, filming people without their knowledge, those kind of things. And but you got to remember all the scandals he had with Bear Stearns, all the scandals he had with Tower Financial, and all these things, all these relationships with these hedge fund managers who are not only raping kids, but Epstein had them bending to his will. He had them compromised. You're talking about hedge fund managers, judges, politicians, even a former president, former first lady too.
Do you see any fellow journalists or reporters if I don't know if you describe yourself as a journalist or not, but that have done good work or really impressive work in the Epstein case? Because I know you're definitely one of the leaders in the sphere.
I think I'm more of a researcher, and I also do journalism because I'll report on what I found. But for a journalist, yeah, lots of people can get shot at with, especially and he's more of a journalist than a researcher. He just finds researchers and has them explain it. But that guy, I hope he doesn't get banned, but I think he's definitely on the list on YouTube.
I am shocked he hasn't been yet.
Oh, I hope he isn't, but
Likewise, shout out to Sean Atwood for being definitely one of the leaders in the Epstein sphere.
Sticks Hexenhammer too. He's not an Epstein person, but he's one of these journalists in the 2000s, whatever, followers, and he covers election frauds and stuff like that. And they haven't hit him yet, but I think he's on that list too.
What was that guy's name again?
Well, he goes by Sticks Hexenhammer.
Sticks, Hex, and Hammer.
Yeah,
Okay, I'll have to check him out.
He's good. He's a libertarian. It sucks, man. Everybody's gone from YouTube. Everybody, not just me this time. It didn't matter if you're researching pedophiles or U.S. foreign policy, if you're anti-war, if you're against the overreaction to essentially a flu, if it was election fraud, global warming, dietary advice, things you wouldn't believe you get censored for, and now you are.
Yeah, I remember last year the CEO Wojo or whatever her name is was saying you can't recommend vitamin C. They were disallowing people to recommend vitamin C.
Triple shot vaccine, 3 masks, and an anal swab to be safe nowadays, right?
There's a swab in my thingamabob. Dr. Seuss.
Yeah. I swear to God, if you said you have to have a butt plug to be safe from COVID-19, people would put butt plugs in their butts. It's like you gotta suck 3 dicks a day. Some girls do that anyway, but they're like, oh, I gotta do that. They go do it. So with men.
It seems like just a big test in civil obedience or lack thereof in mass.
Yeah, because it's not an intelligence thing. They're not all stupid in the sense like
they can't be, right?
No, I mean some of these people are stupid. Like anytime you have a large group of people, a portion of them are just dumb. But no, there are people with good jobs and good, they have an ability to think, but they don't have an ability to question authority. They're authoritarian. It's a psychological issue, not an intellectual issue. And the psychology of these people is whatever the herd's doing is what I'm going to do because we're safe in numbers. And they just go completely on autopilot. Monkey see, monkey do. Well, the TV's wearing masks, so I'm going to wear a mask. A bunch of lemmings. And it's not going to change until the TV tells them to stop.
Yeah, I think you're right on that, Ryan. I wanted to ask you some questions.
Just like weapons of mass destruction, or Assad gases own people, or Russian hackers, or whatever else. Television says it enough times, they're like, oh, okay.
You know what I recognized in hindsight? Just you mentioned al-Assad is his name. Well, that's kind of seems like some programming that's going on.
I don't know how common the name is, but yeah, they may have known. Oh, let's just kick this guy. Syria was always next. I mean, it was in their own policy papers. After Iraq was Syria. That's what they wanted.
Yeah, and we're back at it again in Syria.
U.S. has no business there. Biden bombed Syria. The Israelis had been bombing Syria. And the Russians said, come here one more time, we're going to shoot down your planes. So they said, oh yeah, we'll send in the Americans, watch. They said jump, Biden said off of what? Not how high, off of what, sir? Because they're compromised. The whole Biden family is compromised. And the compromisers, you know who that is, rubbing their hands and saying, do what I say. Because the Biden family, Hunter Biden, doesn't even need explaining. Joe Biden can't keep his hands off kids, even when he knows there's a camera on him. He's hugging them a little too long and kissing them and on the mouth when he can. It's gross. Of course, the other day he was like, is this what we're doing, Nance? Talking to Nancy Pelosi. He's not even in charge of himself. The guy's a cutout. He doesn't know where he is half the time. Like, does he have dementia? And I'm like, if you go back and look at Biden's speeches and stuff, he's always been that dumb.
Yeah.
He's always never known where he's going or whatever.
Yeah, we were actually talking about this at brunch this morning. Is he just dumb or dementia? But you think it's actually both?
It has gotten worse, but also the attention on him has gotten higher.
Hmm.
I think if you followed him around and filmed him more years ago, we would have noticed this years ago. I thought he was just drunk for a while, because he's often is.
I didn't know that. He likes drinking?
Oh, yeah. Have you not seen him drunk off his ass singing about the village?
Oh, I didn't know he was drunk.
Village. Oh, you got to see it. Now, I remember putting that on YouTube back in the day. It got banned, of course. Yeah, he is just a sloppy. They have no self-control, these people. His son's a crackhead. He lost all his teeth. Both of them have fake teeth, right? Well, Hunter Biden's got them because one of the things crack does is make your teeth rot out. And all his teeth rotted out, so he's got a fake smile with fake teeth. His deals with China Energy. Never worked in energy, doesn't speak Chinese, but his dad was a senator. So.
And Burisma Energy too, right?
He's been in Ukraine, yeah, same thing. Doesn't speak the language, doesn't know what he's doing, but he'll be on 10% stake.
I always thought that, especially recently, his smile just looks so manufactured. It looks like he's gotten quite a bit of cosmetic surgery done.
Is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it actually is.
Yeah, it literally is.
You see Hunter without his teeth in.
Without his teeth in. Oh gosh. I want to ask you some questions about work ethic, Ryan, because you're quite prolific in your output.
So I live in Japan.
Yeah, well, there's probably some truth to that.
2 streams a day for many, many years.
2 streams a day? And how long did you do that for?
On YouTube for 15 years. Most of them an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours long.
Wow. So you really have pounded the pavement.
I got a lot of hate to motivate me. Hey, it's and it was for free for the majority of it. They never had shekel chats or any of that until the tail end.
Yeah, and the live streaming too. That's relatively recent in terms of YouTube history.
It was only a few years for me. I would just do videos and upload them. Yeah, I was so rumor or whatever. I used to record it on a camera. I didn't have a microphone. I'd take the disc out of the camera, put it on a USB thing, upload it, and put it on the computer. I didn't have a phone or any of that back in the day.
Yeah, and you would do at the same time every day, or?
Day, it's only like 2006. It's not that far away, but in technology years, that's like dog years,
Yeah, at least, yeah. Would you go at the same time every day, in the morning and the evening, or?
I kind of did one at like 3 a.m. or 1 a.m. or something, and I would do one at like 10, sort of my morning and my night, to fit other people's time zones, because nobody in Japan is watching things in English. And I have to wait till either my kids are asleep or at school.
So would you say you're kind of a night owl, or you like working at night?
Yeah, I'm up all night and almost all day. That's not healthy. I was gonna relax more, but they banned my PayPal, and I had to start over again. They banned my Patreon. I had to start over again. They banned my YouTube 5 times. And each time that happened, you go in panic mode and trying to save all your subscribers and build it up again, which is I got to work with other people, and they're usually in America or Canada or something. So I got to be up in the middle of the night. And this ended up being my schedule. Every time I got off, they pulled me back in.
And there's very few reporters, journalists, public intelligence analysts that I believe are really on the ball. But who do you think
I'll tell you some tips on how to have improve your work ethic.
Yeah.
Especially for millennials and Zoomers.
Yeah, anything at all.
I feel like people your age, and I'm not age bashing, but people your age, younger than you too, grow up with more distractions than I did. I could just bust open a cell phone and watch whatever I want or look at whatever I want. You know, that in the 80s, we didn't have the internet. And you form habits, right? Well, one of the things younger people just need to will themselves into doing is don't procrastinate. And that includes by getting distracted by other stuff. Oh, after I do this, or just one more of these, or one this, one that. No, just do it. Pick some low-hanging fruit and follow it through. Get it done. Just what you can trick yourself, whether you're writing a book or you're making a video or whatever you're gonna do. Starting is the hardest part. That blank page or whatever screen. You need to just do it. Like he says. And once you get started, it's the same thing with like working out or whatever. You're like, oh, I'm just gonna live for 10 minutes. Once you start, you end up doing the whole thing. Right. So don't procrastinate. Don't put things off that pile up and become harder and harder until they're impossible. So really, and if you are a procrastinator, it's like Aristotle said, you become what you do, or you are what you do. You build good habits, and then it's not difficult. That becomes your routine.
That's a good observation. And what about like a mental fortitude or mental toughness? How would you learn that, or how would you teach that to somebody who's trying to learn that?
That's a good question. I wish I knew, because that's self-will is you have or you don't. It seems like it's kind of a cultural thing too. You see more of an independent streak in certain areas than others, but I think that's got a lot to do with parenting. I mean, it might not really be up to you in the beginning, but you can raise your kids the right way. But you gotta allow people, in increments or whatever, have a little bit of responsibility, a little bit of accountability, right? So even if it's the simplest thing, like don't go up to the counter and buy something for your kid. Like give them the money, stand right behind them, and let them do it themselves. Little tiny thing training so they get confidence and they're doing things themselves, but they're gonna definitely have to do later, right? Don't think, oh, I'll just be faster, right? Teach them and build good habits. Getting your kids to do good habits, and that'll help them with work ethic and I think.
And you have 3 young ones.
But mental toughness is hard. I mean, you just gotta be able to deal with stuff, and that's not fun all the time. People running your name through the mud, smearing you, and that's gonna come. Not everyone needs to do what I'm doing. Like, just don't do it. Do something else. But if you're gonna,
I don't think everybody
put your
can
face
do what
out
you're
there
doing, right?
online. No, you know what I mean. Like, maybe it'd be better to use a pseudonym and hide behind a frog avatar or whatever. Some people do that. But if you are gonna put your name out there, it's coming. Be ready for the backlash. And if people lie about you, spread rumors about you, try and get you fired, try and get you deplatformed, take your bank away, all that is risky. And you have to be mentally tough or maybe nuts. I don't know.
Yeah.
But you've got to be able to deal with that.
Okay. And you said a professional athlete, right? In your 20s? I thought I heard you say that. In terms of martial arts?
Oh, I was a martial arts instructor, and most of my family were athletes, pro athletes. But I never was hired to play football or anything like that. I was in the martial arts. When I was of the best age, there wasn't really a place for that. UFC was just starting and didn't pay shit.
Yeah.
And, I mean, there was boxing, I suppose. The highest you could do is just be the best in your area and start teaching. I did it in college. I was on that level. But there really was no pro league for any of that.
Yeah.
UFC didn't even have weight classes. So I thought, I don't know. I'm not doing that.
Not going against the 280 guys, 300 pounders.
Yeah, I wasn't as big as I am now then. And they didn't have gloves or anything. It just looked like insane.
It was really raw, yeah. Kind of like civilized gladiator, fights almost, especially back then. You know,
You're lucky because not the best all have the same idea. Didn't do it. A lot of the early UFC, besides like Gracie, and Shamrock, Pat, they
Ken Shamrock, Gracie Clan.
Frank Shamrock, I was thinking, but yeah, I can't remember sure. He's athletic, you know, he's like and had some game, but and Gracie had a good jiu-jitsu game. The real strikers and stuff, were not gonna go do a no glove anything.
Yeah, break your hands. Yeah,
And especially no weight classes. Like people could have been killed.
yeah, for sure.
Imagine that. So look at some of the people in UFC 1, 2, 3. If they're fighting guys today, they died.
Yeah, it's definitely progressed a lot, and it's always evolving. I've noticed, and it seems like it's going back to striking a little bit, even though BJJ was, exploded, right? Partially
It
because of
was
the Gracies.
because you had a really high level BJJ guy and some mediocre everything else. And maybe I mean I guess there were some wrestlers and all, but it did sort of favor it. There's a mat, and you have that's not real life, right? Having a mat.
Yeah, right.
But and
Fair too.
BJJ is good one-on-one. When you get rid of weight classes, it can still work. Striking is really a lot about your athleticism, your reach. It makes a big difference in size. It makes a big difference. You know, I think it's not like, oh, this style is better than that. It's this individual is better than this other individual. Khabib's been great with his style of wrestling.
Khabib, the Russian guy.
Mm-hmm. And Israel Adesanya is a great kickboxer. That works for him. So if you master your craft, it's whoever controls the fight controls the fight. It's not like, oh, this is the superior style. It's the superior athlete. So
I was asking because it seems like, in my experience, because I played sports all my youth, the body follows the mind rather than the other way around. In terms of like I know I can mentally push my body more, but my body is telling me no because it's not in good enough shape.
A lot of it is mental. Most fighters will tell you it's more mental than physical. I have an identical twin and he can fight too, but not on my level. I think that's all too.
Yeah. Wow, that's fascinating. And yeah, you mentioned work ethic, not procrastinating. Do you drink coffee? I don't think I saw you drink coffee this morning.
I have.
Mm-hmm. You don't habitually or typically, though?
If it's the only thing available or something, I'm not against it, but like.
You prefer your Japanese green tea?
I don't like the way it smells. I'm so contrarian that everyone drinks coffee, so I'm not going to drink coffee. Yeah. You know, but I really, I just don't like the smell. I associate it with like sitting in the car going to church with my dad, and he's got like a cup of coffee. He already drank one. He's got another one in the car. It just smelled like coffee. And you're like going to church, which I usually didn't want to do. So I have a negative association. But no, I just see these people like, oh, I need my coffee, and I'm just like, you sound like a drug addict.
Yeah.
You know, I don't like the culture of it. But in Japan, they have vending machines, and sometimes like you can get them hot or cold there. Mm. And after my third kid was born, I was like, all right, I'll try this. And my wife drinks it. You know, it's not bad. I just don't see what the big deal is. Like, oh, coffee, it's nothing really to me.
Yeah, it seems like the culture almost outweighs the actual product a little bit.
It's a whole thing of like naming all the different types of beans and mixtures and this and that, whatever. I just don't get that excited about drinking something. I'm thirsty, I'll drink whatever.
Yeah, I've noticed some people get triggered about it when you say, you're probably addicted to coffee. And they're like, well, it's not a drug, so how can you be addicted to it? Which obviously it is a drug.
It absolutely is.
It's like a
habit. Habits are just as strong as drugs. Like being addicted to your phone is not chemical in the sense of you're not ingesting anything or whatever.
Right.
And you can say, well, the dopamine, that's secondary. But you can be addicted because that's the habit that you form. The habits that you make end up becoming what you do because it's what's easiest for you to do. We are habitual creatures. And Aristotle has written all about that. Right? But you can use that to your advantage, making good habits. And then they're not hard. They gotta
Some seagulls, huh?
They're protecting us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You seen that video?
No, what is that?
I'll show you after.
Okay. Yeah, we got some seagulls here, folks, and just over the bay and making some noise. In Marina Del Rey, beautiful day today in California.
That bird just bit that other bird's face.
Oh wow, looks like there's some foul fighting going on
Fights are,
in the
fights are
vicinity.
interesting even when it's animals.
Yeah.
Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. They're locked on.
I don't see them. Where are they?
Right here, right here.
Oh, I see them. They're up there. Oh yeah, they're fighting. Okay, I'm gonna tape this, guys.
Yeah, just interrupt this important thing. I was saving.
I think the top guy's winning.
There goes his tongue. I don't know what that shit.
Watch this.
Man. Vicious. I grew up around seagulls. Yeah.
Oh, are they fighting for her?
Got his wing, man.
I think they're fighting for that female. I don't know. This is crazy, folks. We got some seagulls fighting right there. Anyways,
I completely forgot about Epstein and all that stuff.
here with Ryan Daw.son with some
It proves
some
fights are fun.
they're dying goals. Let's try to get a selfie with him.
Oh, down the steps. We need JR. It's a slobber knocker.
I don't understand what's going on. Oh, they're still going at it again.
Face. Are you getting all this?
Yeah,
This is awesome. Oh man.
Neither of them are submitting.
They can't tap out.
Oh gosh.
That one got in the eye. Look at that. Ding ding, here comes the round.
I think that's the female they're fighting for.
She might be watching.
Yeah. So there's a female, we believe, up there. So you can, oh wait, up there. I think that's the female that they're fighting for. Now they're. Should we transit? Oh, it's still going. Yeah. Anyways, folks, we're here with Ryan Daw.son.
Well, that was all live, wasn't it?
Yeah, we're live. Just some Dine-core seagulls there, or Mossad gulls maybe. Who knows? Just.
Trust me, the seagulls are on our side.
Yeah. No deep state seagulls here, folks. But the fight has transitioned to the parking lot, and Ryan and I are still up here. We were just talking. Ryan was talking to us about work ethic and good habits, and I was gonna ask you what you think some good habits are, and start
Not
with
being distracted by birds and stuff. Now you don't see that every day.
No, I've never seen that before.
Gold or whatever you're recording on.
Yeah. I'm unfortunately no, I am on YouTube. We're on Club Osprey, my Facebooks and Twitters, and I can send you the file too, Ryan. But do you and you know Ryan and I are actually impromptu naturalists. And what would we say, zoologists,
I
maybe?
ad-lib everything.
Yeah. Ryan Daw.son.
Like, you have any notes or you want to like? had to write it down. That's 2 times I have to say it.
Do you meditate, Ryan? Do you have a meditative practice that you do mentally?
I'm lucky if I can even sleep. But I have. It's not my thing. I think that stuff's overrated, like woo. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I really do. Like meditation, or I just suck at it. But I don't know. It's never. The way I blow off steam is like that silly stuff, watching birds fight or whatever. Yeah, no, I just play with my kids. I don't think there's anything. If I didn't have kids, maybe I'd meditate. But if I got time, I'm gonna go play with the baby or, you know.
Okay, so that's your cool off time, is hanging out with the kids.
That's like my real life. The rest is work. So I feel like it's separated.
What helps you to focus?
I'm always focused. I never understood that question. How do you stay focused? Like, how do you not be focused? You know what you have to do it. It's totally illogical to like know you need to do something, do a bunch of other things. I never understood that. Like, how do you pay attention? You just pay attention.
How long can you read for in one sitting before you have to stop?
As long as I want. If it's interesting, until the book is done, or I'm usually reading on a computer or phone. I don't read until I'm hungry or something.
Yeah, a couple hours usually, or
I just read on the plane for 10 hours.
Yeah.
Because I had nothing else to do.
What'd you read?
A lot.
Do you remember? Like,
I read a David Irving book. I read
World War II historian.
Yes,
David Irving.
World War II historian. I read all about Rudolf Hess. I read the Irving book, and I read the Unabomber's Manifesto, because that's one of my rituals on a plane, is to reread that. So I always go to Ted Kaczynski. I just save that on my phone, because like, here's a long text that I know I'll enjoy again. I read that. I read all the news stuff. Every day I'm reading news things, so the stupid shit they're doing, banning Mr. Potato Head and Dr. Seuss. Biden calling Texas Neanderthals and stuff.
Yeah, the clown world news of the day. You try to keep up to date on. I want to switch to technology. We were talking this morning at breakfast about PeerTube. You were telling me about.
That's the way to go.
PeerTube. Okay, PeerTube. A decentralized video. Is that what we're talking about here, Ryan?
It's live stream and archive, because BitChute doesn't live stream, BeLive doesn't archive, and neither does Odyssey doesn't live stream. PeerTube does both, and it's decentralized. So eventually, you're gonna have to leave the middlemen and come to PeerTube. Confederate with who you want, and it's just.
Are we Confederates, Ryan?
Once you get a PeerTube, yeah.
Hell yeah.
I'm on there. I'll confederate with you.
This is the new digital confederacy of the United States of America.
Sam Tripoli's on with us, and we're gonna have more and more. And people can do both. You can make 2 channels, whatever. It doesn't matter. This one feeds into all these, and this is just me, or whatever.
Oh, nice. Okay.
But it's just you have total control over it. Put your own skin on it and everything. There's no algorithms suppressing you. There's no shadow banning, and there's no banning, which is the most important. We do have live streaming comments, and we will have a shekel chat. You can use the shekel chats like Entropy or whatever using anyway, in addition to PeerTube.
Okay.
So that's what most people do with YouTube or whatever, because they're not allowed to shekel chat and not monetize, so they use Entropy.
Is that what you're still using? Is the Entropy?
Entropy was good to me when I had nothing and chips were down, so I'm sticking with it. But we are building our own. Because you never know. Well, we do have a paywall. That's instead of Patreon. Why would you give them 20% when you can just have memberships on your own site?
Yeah.
Fuck Patreon. They're woke and ban people over nothing. So, Tim Kelly's coming to PeerTube too, and Adam Green. He's on it already. He's just started, so he'll be fully on it later. PeerTube's where it's at, and we've got an anti-Twitter. And there's also Gab, which is like an anti-Twitter, and it's been around for a while.
Yep, I just got Gab Video.
Gab Video, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think they're gonna live stream it soon.
Oh wow.
I don't know how long.
That is really the make or break deal for so many creators that I've talked to, is the ability to both publish and live stream. And PeerTube can do both.
The reason live streams are important is because of shekel chats.
Mm.
And
I think people like the community aspect of watching something live together as well.
absolutely. Like you can, well, yeah, it isn't the same. And all the like supporters, followers, fans, whatever, know each other. They start, in chat, they recognize each other's names and things. And that's they don't want us to have that. They don't want us to have a real community.
Yeah.
But I was thinking for the community side, there's Telegram, there's the anti-Discord, there's these groups where we can congregate. In China and stuff, they just have these giant WeChat groups. Japan, they have what's called Line.
Oh yeah, I know Line.
Yeah.
I got a Line.
Me too.
I got to get your Line.
Sure. I've never been censored on Line. I have to make a space. It's not online. It's on LINE.
Line.
Capitals, yeah.
Green messaging app.
I should have thought about that name a little longer.
Yeah, I noticed in Japan it's like Line. Europe it's WhatsApp. WhatsApp is really used in Europe a lot, and then in the States I've noticed it's just it might have changed recently, but like Facebook Messenger a lot, which is unfortunate. But yeah, and then like even like Signal though, it's like I guess the banning's like the first kind of level of malfeasance, but then there's the
Signal's
surveillance,
also on
right?
phones, and there are some of us that are desktop people or whatever.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, that's completely true. But just in terms of the surveillance, I found out now that Signal is surveilled, and so is Telegram.
Yeah, whatever they highly suggest is wrong.
It's wrong. Yeah.
I can tell you, not on live. I'll tell you a better one than Signal you can use.
Yeah, what's that?
Is it off?
No, I was just pulling up a comment.
Oh no, I'll tell you I don't want to tell everyone.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's how it gets ruined.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So Ryan created his own messaging app, which he made just so we can communicate.
Well, Nerds made it.
Nerds with a Z. So talked about Epstein, productivity, work ethic, tips for focusing, and general geopolitics.
I think same answer for tips for focusing. Build good habits. And just create a good workspace too until you're a pro at it. So you just don't have interruptions. Like, I'm doing this, everyone leave me alone. I'm basically not here. And do your thing, get it done, and then return, whatever. But the people, they sit down. Some people can't even watch a movie without getting a drink and something to eat and being in a certain chair and just do it. If you're working on writing or something, don't bring food and all the other crap in there with you. Just do it. What I like to write things in a notebook because most of my education was the pencil generation. So I like to lay down rather than sit. I like to lay down and just write everything in a notebook. And that's like if I'm doing a serious long movie, and then I sit and look at it and think, okay, what's the best way to order this? Like, which one comes first? Should I do it chronologically, or should I start backwards to go back in time, or what? Figure that out. Then I start imagining the images that'll go with what I'm saying, and then I'll go find those images, the ones I definitely need, or the video clips that I'm like, oh, it'd be good to show this here or that. So I gather all that, and then last, I sit down with the actual movie editor and record all the audio, add in the pictures I know, and then think about what visuals I need for the empty space, right? But now I don't have to do that. I hire people to do the visual stuff. That's the way, or that's what I was gonna do. But now I'm back to how I was doing it the first time, again, because I got kicked off of the everything, so I can't hire anybody. But that was the plan. Sucked. I was so close. Every time I got to the mountaintop, boom, rolling back down the hill. This time's going to be different. Like, PeerTube is ours. They can't kick us off. Payment processors are property. What if Entropy was sold to someone else? Because YouTube was good, then they sold it to Google. And that was the end of that.
It's like George Lucas selling Star Wars to Disney. Sold him. He even said himself. He's like,
I sold it to woke Disney too.
He's like, I sold it to the white slavers. That's what he said.
It's not Walt Disney. It's woke Disney.
Yeah, woke Disney. Yeah, it's akin to that. But is it because
Gina Carano?
because of the technology behind PeerTube. That's why it's
because there's no owner, there's no boss that you can throw you off. There's no centralization. That's why.
No central bank.
Right. There's no, and even the bandwidth, like you don't have to sit and pay for all of it like that.
Yeah.
It's split up between hundreds and maybe thousands of computers. Kind of like a blockchain for streams. It's similar to torrents with seeds, but you don't need a seed. Like you are a seed already, but like it's not as.
And what Ryan means by that is when you torrent something or download it from another server, you can seed it. What that means is you allow that server access to the file to make it easier for other people to download it kind of in a crowdsourced manner.
Seeds, the faster.
Right, yeah, exactly. So you're saying you
It's
don't
not
have
like
to see
that.
that.
It's similar to that, but it's, you know, the other way is somebody just owns a really fast server and they host all your stuff. Well, they can just take that down.
Right.
You don't want to be dependent on, like what's happened to Parler. They're using Amazon servers, and Amazon just said, "Nah," and that was it. Parler was gone for about a month until they found new servers. Stop doing that. We have other ways.
I got to get on PeerTube. And you mentioned writing manually.
For me, it works for me.
Is that what your writing process is like for your books? Is you would write it?
All. I have notebooks just full of text. You know, and I'll even draw a photo of this here, whatever.
Yeah.
If I'm like, I know in my head, like, oh, this is the October 15th article in the New York Times or something. I'll just put that and put a square around it. Be like, this is the source of what I just said or quoted. In my film later, I have to go find that paper and put it in.
Okay. And then the last step is typing. Do you organize everything and then type it?
Never type it. Just read it. I read it out to the microphone and record it.
Oh wow, that is fascinating. I've never heard.
Type it, but if I have a movie, there's no reason to type it out when I already wrote it. It's already in a notebook.
Okay, I understand. So for documentaries and movies, you'll just obviously read it into the microphone. But then for writing a book, is that the last step? Then is you organize it completely manually and then type it?
In a book, I'll write a considerable amount of the book in notebooks before I type it out. But, it seems like for the book, like once I got my ideas and all that, I'll write almost half of it in one shot, and then the other half takes forever. It's mostly things I've probably said 100 times anyway, which is why I'm putting it in a book, so I don't have to keep explaining it. I can just say, go see chapter whatever of this book, right? And the same thing with videos. Those I don't even write down. Like you asked me about the tried and true topics, whether, you know, healthcare or minimum wage or this or the things I'm always seem to be explaining. I'll just sit down at a camera and explain it, and that's the video for that. And the next time someone asks me about it, I just go watch this. Except I can't do that now because they erased my YouTube. I used to be able to just go on my own YouTube. Yeah, you can go on your own thing.
Yeah.
Search for the term.
Yeah.
There it is. Like, here you go.
Yeah, I was lamenting to Peter Duke yesterday about that because I wanted to show him a video.
And the funny commercials we used to have.
Yeah, and this morning too. Yeah, and I was like, man, I hate that they banned my old channel because now I can't find videos that I want to show people.
Now, PeerTube you can get your tags and stuff on there, but I just had a script grabbed from my BitChute because I couldn't grab from my YouTube because it's gone, and so I don't have all the tags in there yet, and that's gonna suck to figure out how to do that. Be a long process.
Would you have someone write a script for it, or would that not be possible?
For tags, I don't know how you can. I guess you can like at least tag it with words that are already in the title. I thought about that, but yeah, See, if you go to my website though, I have the tags on there. I did that on purpose as backup. So if you look up like Epstein on AN.CReport, you'll get pages that either have something written about them or videos about them on there. Or Maxwell.
AN.CReport.com, folks, is Ryan's website.
That's where it's searchable. But if I'm, like last night or something, I just want to find a video. That isn't so easy. I have to go in and site and log in and look for it. But something like the commercials, they're in the middle of other videos, right? So that I have it on Rumble. I have one strand that goes through all the funny commercials, but I couldn't find my Rumble. It just automatically logs in on my computer, so I never had to look for it, and it just wasn't necessary. I have to get in there.
We got a question here, actually, from my manager, Aaron. He wants to know your thoughts on
The gingers, they did it.
on the Wexner Heritage Institute. What's your understanding of the Wexner Heritage Institute, Ryan?
Les Wexner has a series of these fronts. You know, I can't remember if I said this one or the last one, or I've been doing a lot of interviews, but the Wexner-Bronfman Syndicate are the founders of the mega group.
Wexner-Bronfman Syndicate, founders of the mega group.
Bronfman and Wexner and Steinhardt are the three that created it.
Okay, Steinhardt was the other one.
Yeah, and they brought in the Spielbergs and all of the blue group, you know what I'm saying? They brought them all in there. And it's a who's who list of Jewish billionaires, pretty much. All hardcore Zionists, all loyal to the Israeli state. Wexner was their point man for Epstein and Maxwell.
Was Wexner like his...
The Bronfmans were in the Nexium cult, as well as the Lincoln Project and Lincoln Savings and Bonds.
Okay.
That's that McCain.
So the Bronfmans are connected to this, what happened on the 6th through the Lincoln Project.
Yeah, technically, because the Lincoln Project was, sure.
That's fascinating. Was Wexner like Epstein's like Jedi Master kind of? Like that was his mentor, or was that a wrong description of the relationship?
He's the money guy. He gave him a house. You know, he was his client, which is a way of getting the initial capital for Epstein to get in there and start blackmailing people and making relationships with the uber wealthy, hedge fund managers, real estate tycoons, so on.
So you kind of see Wexner,
and he didn't even mess with billionaires or his targets.
Yeah, if you didn't have $1 billion, he wouldn't take you.
You know how much more a billion is than a million? Like, it's hard to get your head around that number.
Yeah, it is, especially for the layman, I think.
Look up how many days is 1,000,000 seconds, and then go look up how many years is 1,000,000,000 seconds.
Yeah, it's orders of magnitude greater.
Actually.
And you just made me think of something, because of Eric Weinstein was basically describing the difference between millionaires and billionaires and how they behave very differently, right?
Yeah, it's a whole magnitude off.
Yeah, it's a different culture, different society, really. But he also, I wanted to give a shout out to Eric Weinstein, and I want to see Ryan Daw.son on Mr. Weinstein's show.
I answered his questions that he had.
I did see that. You did that with Sean, I think last year, right? The second half of the year, or your second interview with him. You kind of answered the questions that Weinstein put out.
Yeah, it was like March of 2020.
But you guys should talk. I think that'd be fascinating.
I'd love to talk to Eric about many things, actually.
Yeah, I would also like to do that. Let him be known.
He spoke with a friend of mine, so they've not hit it off.
The follow-up, though, for the Weinstein thing is he tweeted the FBI this morning about the Epstein case.
Good.
Yeah.
He met him.
I retweeted him. So check out that tweet, folks. It's on my Twitter, Addy, ONE.
Weinstein,
you
heard about his meeting with Epstein, how weird it was. Epstein came there with like bouncing a girl on his knee.
Yeah.
So,
and he saw the camera, like the pinhole camera.
The camera in the plant, in the waiting room.
Yeah, and the dining room
I
cloth.
believe that Eric believes and knew, or didn't know, but was highly suspicious that I'm looking at a cutout, a construct, a cutout.
Yeah,
because he was.
That's pretty, very, very astute observation of him to kind of ascertain that just from what he saw.
But most people don't hang out with billionaires, right? And you don't notice that. But even it's not just like, oh, you're spending money like it doesn't matter. It's when you find a camera in a plant, you know, that should be a red flag. And the guy comes in with these young girls and like he had a spiel to try and sound smart, you know, stuff you can memorize. And you know, talk about the markets or this or that or whatever. But like I could do that. I could listen to people that do know that in and out. and then I got a pretty good memory, and just go say what they said, you know, and maybe not know a dick about it, you know. But he was fake, man. Everything about that guy.
Yeah.
Like,
He knew how to hoodwink people. Yeah.
he wanted to get him in, get him at the right. Half this stuff is socializing at dinners and
Yeah.
galas and parties.
That was
and
it.
stuff.
I think that was his strength, was his ability to socialize.
Right. He was good. They had a nice niche there on procuring women and girls, I should say, from modeling agencies and whatnot, and getting their targets drunk and vulnerable and making mistakes. But other times, a lot of these people are just evil and into it, and they pass these girls around like a web ring, just ding, ding, ding. This guy, that guy. Go to Dubin. Now you're going to Mr. Black. Now you're going to Mr. Kraft. Now you're going to Mr. Steinberg or whatever. And they pass them all around. Cured them, ruined them, and said, you're sleeping with this person tonight. And these girls are just like, this is just my life. These are the most powerful people on earth. I can't go to the cops. FBI won't do anything. Because I've seen, like, the president here. They just felt completely helpless. And they're finally getting some justice.
Yeah. And shout out to Nick Bryant. You wrote the Franklin Scandal, and Ryan actually wasn't aware of him. So it'd be cool to see you guys talk as well. He was actually the guy, I believe was the first guy with the Black Book, Epstein's Black Book, or what the names they wanted.
It all got unredacted pretty easily, too.
Yeah. So we're rounding up our hour here, Ryan.
The Franklin Scandal was more on the Republican side.
Yeah, it was the Republicans,
lots
right?
Of little boys more than girls, but same kind of blackmail and debauchery.
And it was actually bigger in terms of grand juries. It was 3 grand juries for that, as opposed to 1 for Epstein.
But it didn't hit the billionaire class.
That is true. That is also true. That's
These
a good
were
distinction.
Like just manipulating like Congress people.
Yep, politicians.
Congress people are not in charge. The donor class is in charge.
Yeah.
That's who rules.
The donor class. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Don't say when they go through all these terms for this crap. They're like, oh, Illuminati, the NWO, New World Order, the Bavarian Death Cult, the Masons, the elite, the deep state, the whatever, the globalists. It's the donor class.
Yeah.
It's the George Soroses, it's the billionaires, and they decide what's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's the Sheldon Adelson, not anymore. He's dead. But it was like the Adelsons, dead. The Redstones, now also dead.
Redstones.
Soros, soon to be dead. Rothstein is his real name, but yeah.
Oh, Rothstein. Okay.
Yeah, some of Redstone owned VH1, MTV, Nickelodeon, Viacom, all that media, AOL, Time Warner.
Okay, I haven't heard of this family. Redstone's own VH1, Nickelodeon. Okay, I'll have to look into the Redstones.
Well, he died in August. It's a good month. I think it was August. I was in Kobe. I remember I was in Kobe, Japan. Like 7 Redstone died. Oh yeah, well that's another holiday on the calendar.
What? How did they? Was that a car accident or?
He's just old.
Oh, okay. Excellent. We're
He left it in the hands of another Zionist, but whatever.
Yeah.
He's gone. Rupert Murdoch, he's got one foot in the grave. And he's a hardcore Zionist. He's a right-wing Zionist, and most of the rest of them are all left-wing Zionists. So his has Fox News versus like Zucker and these other people's CNNs and whatnot.
Jeff Zucker.
They're all left-wing, really. Just Fox is less left-wing than the other ones. They're all authoritarian. They all support war. There's so many commonalities, but none of them will talk about Israel or the Fed or like so many issues. Just normie news, And normie news is exactly what they doing, talking about Dr. Seuss or whatever. I guess it's a story. It's news, but there are bigger things going on, And there were some white pills, with Mississippi and then Texas getting rid of masks. And 6 more states are getting rid of it by March 30th. It's going to be good. It's a good step forward.
Yeah, we're finally.
It's not like the
trending.
government's doing anything. They stopped doing something. Like anytime the government does something good, it just means it stopped doing something stupid. So like, you lifting the mandate that you also created.
Yeah.
On masks. Like I said,
that doesn't make you,
the best thing the government can do is quit doing stuff.
Yeah. It's still in that
it does,
negative.
It messes it up and makes it more expensive and convoluted. Like, quit doing it. and that'll be good. There's few functions they need to do. You know, maintain the court system and police and the border and a military and maybe a post office. But man, they went way beyond all that.
Mm. Excellent. Well, Ryan Daw.son, thank you so much, sir, for chatting with me.
No problem.
It's been really enjoyable hanging out with you, man.
I'll see you when you come to Japan in the future.
Yes, that is going to happen, sir. I'm going to meet up with Ryan Daw.son in Japan. I actually I have some friends in Okinawa I want to visit too, so I'll probably spin it into one trip there. I actually never been to the mainland other than what's it, Narita?
Or the main islands. Well, yeah, Narita's.
Mm-hmm. So I don't know if that we can count the airport, but outside the airport, I really have not been to the Japanese mainland. So I'm definitely looking forward to doing that.
I've only been to the airport in San Francisco. I've never been to Shit City properly. They have an app for
I think me
SCAT.
too. Actually, yeah. I've been there twice in the airport, but
I think I have to go there today.
Okay.
Briefly, before I go to a real country.
Yeah, don't let the communists overtake you, Ryan, when you make your layover.
Oh, it's just like this is the San Francisco is worse than New York. That's about the biggest insult I can think of.
Yeah.
Worse than New York.
Yeah, it's
there
pretty
are parts
good.
of New York that you can like, at least.
Mm.
Nothing about San Francisco. Sunny, I guess. Pelosi's from there. Maxine Waters is from there. Kamala Harris is from there. Like all the shittiest women are from San Francisco.
Yeah, it certainly seems like that. And just looking at the state of their downtown, not good.
They got dead bodies and people.
Yeah, and there was I think typhus last year popped up.
For real.
Yeah, it was either last year. Yeah, it was last year. I think beginning of last
that
year.
would happen in Portland first. But yeah, okay.
Yeah, it was either San Fran or LA or both. But I think it was San Fran where yeah, there was typhus.
People, you're suffering.
Ridiculous.
Liberals. You're suffering. The two parties are the same. They're not. They're both bad. One is a lot worse. And liberals, cancel culture, they're the pro-censorship. They're also pro-war and all the dumb things that the right is about. But
Pro-bombing
cancel culture
Syria.
stuff is just the left, really. They are the worst. I'll let you go, man.
No, that was great, Ryan. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to finish your other book, as I said, AN.CReport.com.
Yes, we're there every day. I haven't updated in a while because I've been over here, but I have some stuff. Got some stickers on it, too.
Yeah, and then thanks for the stickers, man. I'm going to try to get some more merch from you at some point. But yeah, AN.CReport.com, PeerTube as well, if you want to send me your link so I can share it with people.
It's just vid.AN.CReport.com.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Vid, like video.
Okay, excellent. Thank you
You
so
go
much.
Put that Israel did 9/11 sticker wherever you feel like.
Okay, I'll try to
Probably
find
make the news.
Try to find a good spot for it. But Ryan Daw.son, thanks so much, sir.
Awesome.
Addy, Ads, and Ryan, stay frosty, folks. We will see you next time. And we're here live from California, Epstein Files Special Edition. By the time you hear from me, I will likely be in New Orleans. So see you there. Cheers.